Skinny white boy in a SS. Smoking on some weed, bring me less stress. You're trying to hold me down, do your best. I catch you slipping, I'ma put two in your chest. I'm a killin', this is motherfucking wicked gang. Let my braids hang and my nuts do the same thing. Swinging back and forth like the hatchet from my damn chain. If I holler whoop whoop, you better say the same thing. Strapped up, masked up, riding in the summer rain. Looking for a hater, I can cause him a little pain. Shells in my pump and I don't feel like I need to aim. Puffing on a blunt while I'm blowing at your homie brain. Man, I love blood, vampire out the fucking veins. About to pull the hatchet out and open up a main vein. Usually I would drink it, but your plasma smelling hella strange. And that type of shit, I'd probably give it to your tummy ache. Riding in the fucking money, in the truck's a fucking body. Maybe it's that fucker Ronnie or that little pussy. I never know, could be your mommy. Already told you about my hobby. You know I collecting bodies, no I ain't that fucking solid. Just a G in a G body. Run around gripping on a pump shot it. Getting chased down by the Illuminati. I think I'm about to catch me another body. Body. About to catch me another body. Body. Just a G in a G body.
Evil Puerto Rican looking so possessed. Became a blood just because I love the taste of it. Get to tripping, I'ma leave them all wasted. Red beam when I pull it, bitch, I never miss. Bitch, I love that sound. When I hear that body drop, it's time to feast down. Carnivore life, destroying the beef now. Only green that I see is when I'm at Greek Town. A black Chevy doing every fucking G thing. Hitting licks, stacking chips with the big bang. Eyes black and white, something like a yin yang. So I stay balanced, my talent is to annihilate. Illuminated, so I see through all the faking. I know they hate it cause I steady be accelerating. I tried to make it so when they face it, they can take it. But I guess a slow death is the only payment.
Just a G in a G body. Run around gripping on a pump shot it. Getting chased down by the Illuminati. I think I'm about to catch me another body. Body. About to catch me another body. Body. Just a G in a G body.
Welcome to the Occult Rejects. And in this episode, I am very, very happy to have on this special guest to continue this series, Magi behind the mic. First off, I want to give a shout out to Dreadlock Juggalo. That is actually how I found out about King Wicked. He had posted some stuff up on his YouTube channel from The Gathering, and you can see King Wicked getting shot with string confetti. And spitting some rhymes. And I think he might have some other stuff on there. But that's how I found King Wicked. I came across him and then saw some of his music. And, obviously he's got some of occultism in there if he's even on this show. So I said, besides, making raps and into the occult, I might as well get him on the show then. So thank you very much, King Wicked. I appreciate it. Real quick, just let me, before I forget, I got to mention, I got Jin the Ninja as usual with this series. I got him on with me tonight. Thank you very much, Jin. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nick. Always happy to do this series. I love doing it.
Hell yeah. It's awesome, and it's like really cool to like just, you know what it is too? You're meeting people that like, I hope you guys make it big. You know what I'm saying? And like, like huge, but like you're dealing with people that like haven't become an asshole yet. Because they're popular, you know what I'm saying? And they can actually be real with you. You know what I'm saying? So I like that. Or maybe that's just a juggalo thing anyway. Maybe they're just real motherfuckers. But I've had like a really good experience with like the kind of the juggalos, talking to them and dealing with them. So they seem to be some real people. So I wanted to get another one on. Oh, you're not. Your audio's messed up for a second there, bud.
Is it good now?
Yeah, you're good now. Yeah.
The baby mama just tried to call.
Oh, okay. All right.
I had to reject the call. Matter of fact, let me mute it.
Awesome.
In case she tried to call again.
So, King Wicked, let everybody know what your deal is, I guess, and kind of introduce yourself if you want to.
I am King Wicked, creator of Wicked Gang, if you don't know about it. Some people know me as King Wicked from Wicked Gang. Some people know me from Core Horror as that guy that did the Hocus Pocus. But yeah, man, I'm King Wicked and I'm a motherfucking juggalo. And even though some people don't like to be called this, I am a juggalo rapper. I am a juggalo who raps and I make music for juggalos.
I get that. I get that.
So,
Yeah, and that's a good thing because we will get into that. Actually, maybe I'll just ask you now since you've already brought up the word a couple of times. I seem to get kind of different answers. And so that's another reason why I'm asking you, because maybe I'll get a different answer from you. What does being a juggalo mean to you? Or what does that word even mean to you? You know what I'm saying? If you don't mind.
what is a juggalo? Well, the fuck if I know. I'm down.
What is a juggalo?
Nah, I mean, it's family, man. It's family values, right? When it comes down to it, being a juggalo is about accepting people for who they are, and the majority of us were the unwanted, right? The majority of us were the outcasts. We didn't fit in somewhere else, so the dark carnival is where we fit in at. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna hear family. You might get a different answer, but you're gonna hear that word family in every one of them. You know what I mean? That's what it really comes down to. We're all about taking care of each other, protecting each other. And that's not even just each other, right? Like, we'll extend that family love to people that aren't juggalos just because, family is the core value behind this. You know what I mean? We accept almost everybody. As long as you're not racist or molesting kids, like, you're cool over here. If you're touching kids or you're a racist, this ain't where you want to be, because we're going to handle that. But otherwise, it's all love. Come hang out.
Yeah, there's even a song I think off of Ouija Mac's new album, Dark Planet, where he talks about something like there's a pedophile and then pull the trigger finger or something like that. I was like, all right, nice, man.
Yeah,
give me a pedophile and I'll show you the trigger finger or some shit like that.
ICP had to Catch a Predator song. I thought that was really dope the way they did.
Yeah,
that.
I know they are vocal on, like, they don't like pedos, man. Like,
they're very vocal about it.
I respect that. Actually.
Which I'm all cool with, man. I got 2 kids myself, so.
Well, I don't, but I understand. Like, yeah.
There's some things that we can forgive, but touching kids ain't one of them.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, I want to ask you: is there, to you, when the word juggalo is used, do you think, or for you, is there any occult behind that at all? Because, like, I'll put it this way: not that I'm not big on, just because I'm an occultist or a magician, I'm not big on, like, just taking labels in general. But if I was to go by what I think, just the simple fact that they say juggalos don't die, if they said juggalos die but live to tell about it, then I would say I am one. If you know where I'm going with that.
I feel you. The thing is, all right. So people like to label us, as a gang at one point in time, right? And I have some gangbanger buddies, and they like to point out all the similarities that we have to a gang. And I like to point out to them that we are more like a cult. Jugglers are more like a cult than they are a gang, right? Because when you look at a lot of cults, it's a lot of times it's family based anyway, right? They're coming up with their own community of people. It's, in my opinion, it's not much different. Violent J is our David Perez, right? Like, he's not telling us to drink Kool-Aid, but you feel me? We have a creator. He created a community. We follow him. We treat him like, not like a god or a king, but we do treat him to a higher standard, right? That's who preaches. He preaches what we follow, right? Shangri-La and, all the Joker's cards, they're all spiritual. And they all come down to this whole thing that is the Dark Carnival. And in my opinion, it's super, super cult-like, which I'm okay with. Some people don't like it being called that, because it's too close to gang. And we do not want to be.
I'm just going to add this in there. And, I grew up listening to ICP from the Great Malenko on. It was never anything I mean, it was always, I grew up listening to them. I knew who they were. They were always in the background. Believe, you know, I like their stuff. I will say it's more of chapter 17 that I'm really hooked on those dudes and stuff like you're doing. But the reason that I've gotten so stuck on it is that, in my opinion, I know you're saying cult, but just as my opinion, I think the shit is deeply fucking occult, actually. I think they're all straight killers for the most part. They have no problem pulling their own plugs out when they want to. You know what I'm saying? They fuck what they fuck. Does your black sun stay eclipsed? I mean,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that can give off the idea of a cult in a sense, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just trying to say, you know, I see it more of a cult. And I think what happens when you have people looking at the occult and don't understand it, it turns into a cult.
Well, anything that people look at and they don't understand turns into something bad immediately. Nobody sees something that they don't understand.
And it may not be done on purpose either, you know?
Yeah. You know, people are what do they say? They're afraid of what they don't understand. So
yeah.
And then, you know, if you're on the outside looking in at juggalos, of course you're seeing craziness. I mean, if you look and you see me, you're gonna be like, "What the heck is that?" So, like, I get it, but you know, you gotta go past. You gotta open the book. You can't just read the cover.
Yeah, that's just like that's what you know. That's like another reason why I've been wanting to like even get some of you guys on, is because like I have even said, and I should have said this at the beginning of this. My apologies. You know, another reason why I'm having him on, again, considered horrorcore, I do think that is just one outlet of a style of art to use sometimes that isn't always necessarily that bad. It's just the way that person chooses to express their experiences, maybe. And it looks like King Wicked's froze again anyway. Damn.
Well, I'll jump in there, Nick, and I'll say I agree with you. I think doing the series with you has really opened my eyes in some ways that people have a hermeneutic, that different groups have different hermeneutics they follow. This seems to work for a lot of people. So as a sort of magical system, and much respect to that.
Yeah. And again, I just even say this too. I'm not knocking it. I'm finding this very interesting. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Yeah, different things work for different people, you know.
Another quick question, and then we'll get more back into. I know it's like the occult rejects, and we're already talking about the occult. I wanted to do that kind of the second part of the show. Just one more thing, and then we'll get more back into like the music, and then we'll get more into the occult. The 17. What's up? What does the 17 mean to you?
So, I use 17, right? 17 to me is a little different because I'm not a chapter 17er. Yeah. I was a huge Hex fan. So that side note, that song G-Body that you just played, that was a song that we put together to get Hex on. And at the time I was having I was dealing with some stuff and I didn't have the means to get Hex on that song at the time. But I'm older. I grew up, I'm 35. I grew up listening to the original ICP, and I was, Juggalo far before the Chapter 17 label, far before Ouija Mat came about. So I don't associate the 17 directly with Chapter 17 like a lot of people do. To me, that's the Juggalo number. You know what I mean? That's the missing chapter, which is, I think it's fire how Ouija Mat and them's label comes because they were the next chapter. So for them to be the missing chapter is fire. I ironically, back when I was a kid and I played sports, my number was always 17. My jersey number was 17, and since it was so many years in a row, I just kept using it. And then when 17 started being very, very popular in the Juggalo community, I was just like, oh, this is awesome. I love it. It's already my number.
You know what I always found interesting with that is, I don't know if you're into, you probably are, I would assume, a little bit into conspiracies. Doesn't mean that you're in. Yeah. I mean, just from stuff that I think I've even heard you say. Oh God, where was I going? Oh, QAnon is huge with that 17 number. But like, I just think it's like funny. I'm like, because I'm sure like it's both being used in a different way. But it just, to me, I find it like funny that like QAnon is like stuck on the 17, because I don't think those people like understand what the 17 even fucking means. I guess that's why I find it hilarious.
Yeah.
When
It's kind of funny how many different organizations will attach numbers to things.
yeah. Does it have any attachment to like maybe the Emperor card for you?
No, I never thought about that.
Yeah, because it has
You know?
hey on there, and that Hebrew letter looks like a 17. Actually, it looks like a line and then like a small 7, and they're not connected. I'm getting work done on my right arm right now, and when that's done, my left arm, I'm going to have a remake of the Emperor Tarot card done on my arm, and like that 17 will be in there somewhere, or that hey, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like, to me, I was wondering if there was anything like that.
Now that you said it, I'm gonna think of it every time I see it.
Yeah.
That's imprinted now. For sure.
If you look at the Golden Dawn deck, the Emperor has a hat that it's like, oh, that looks like a Ouija Mac with his hair. With the fucking shit coming out like that.
Yeah, that's great.
But I mean, that's the only card where that guy's looking like that, so I'm sure that's just a coincidence, but it did make me think about it. All right, yeah. So does the 17, like, I guess maybe I should have asked this first. Does it have any like occult value to you?
I mean, I never looked at it like that.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering.
That's the number that represents juggalos,
Okay.
Same thing as like the hatchet, man. That's our logo.
Yes. All right. All right. So now a little bit back. Let's rewind this now and kind of like, how did you even start? Like, I guess maybe take us from the beginning, from when you started doing this. Like, who was like original people maybe that you I know you had mentioned, another group before. I guess take us back as early as you'd like.
Well, I started writing music in high school, right? When I was probably like, I don't know, 14, 15, maybe 16 years old, in that range. I had a couple buddies that they were really into rap to the point where they never did their schoolwork because they were convinced that they were going to be rappers and that's the only path for them, which is ironic because they don't do music anymore and I do. But they would come over to my house, like hang out at my house on the weekends, and I had a computer. And this is, back, we didn't have nothing. We just had my computer and like a little microphone that looked like a finger. And we used to use like a voice memo. So you couldn't do layers. You hit record and you had to be ready. Somebody would rap the hook and the person for the first verse would be standing next to them, and then they would rap the first verse. So if you messed up the second verse, we have to start the whole song over again. But when they used to do that, and I just wanted to be involved, so I would start writing verses just so I could be involved with them, and that just grew from there. Like, I've always like really, really loved music, but I never like really considered like pursuing it as a career, and I still didn't until a couple years ago. But I just started writing to like get in with them. I wanted to like be involved while they were doing it in my room in my house anyway. So I was like, I just want to be involved.
You should be doing something.
And yeah, and then as I got out of high school, we all move on with our lives. I stopped hanging out with them. I just kept writing. To tell you the truth, like I just kept writing, and I just kept like thinking that I was good, and I was like. Eventually, I was broke, poor kid. I had no equipment, no means to get to a studio, but I was just like, I'm going to write and I'm just going to rap on a webcam and post it on YouTube, and somebody's going to hear me and they're going to be like, oh, you've got potential. Let me put you under my wing. Doesn't happen. If you're watching this and that's your mind state, stop. It's not going to happen. Nobody's coming to save you.
That's the truth.
I did that for a while, man. And I kind of was hoping somebody would pick me up, but I really just was having fun doing it. And I just wanted really making music. And it wasn't until a few years ago, for a while was just like finding people who were doing songs, and I would just give them features here and there. And then a few years ago, a guy local here to me, a good friend of mine named Aaron. He goes by RTC Khan. He raps, and he does like gangster gangbanger rap, or at least he did at the time. And he wanted to do a darker song, so he reached out to me, and I went and laid some wicked shit on his verse, and we ended up doing a music video for it. And around that time, somebody was pointing out TikTok to me, and I was super against TikTok. I was like, I'm not getting on TikTok.
I mean, I get that.
But they convinced me to put that music video on TikTok, and when I did, it blew up. Like it did like 30,000 views in like 3 days, and where I'm in a small town right now, like there's not even a stoplight in this town. It's so small. So there's only like maybe 3 juggalos in this whole town. And so like I didn't grow up with the juggalo community per se. Like I had to like really search out for juggalo stuff. But when I posted that video on TikTok, it's like the juggalos found me so fast.
That's cool.
And it was great. The number just hit 22222. That was awesome. But yeah, when I had someone reach out for me from a group called Strange JRB, and a girl named Misty. She reached out to me and she was like, "Hey, they had this whole group. It was kind of a musical group, but it was really like a family inside of a family. Like it was a little family of juggalos, right?" And I was like, "All right, I like that concept." So they were like, "Come over here, work with us. We kind of network together." So I was like, "Sweet, networking with other juggalos. I've never been able to do that until now. Love the idea." And eventually somebody she knew had gotten stage time at the Gathering 2023, so 3 years ago. And the kid that had gotten a stage time, he didn't actually make music. I'm surprised he got the stage time. He had just started playing with it. But what he did is he traveled as a roadie and doing stage setups and decorating stages, which he was really good at. And he, I guess, wrote out a description of the show he wanted to put on. And Rob really liked it, so he got stage time. But he didn't have enough music to fill the 30-minute stage time. So we reached out to this girl, Misty, and she goes by Rev. She's actually a rapper too. Reached out to her and was like, "Hey, I need some rappers to help me fill this time slot." So she hit me up and was like, "Hey, can you come do 3 songs on this set with us?" And I was like, "Absolutely," because prior to that, I'd always wanted to go to the Gathering, but I didn't know juggalos that went to the Gathering, and I social anxiety, all that nonsense.
I know. If I wanted to go really bad this year, and I have all this video equipment where I could have done a documentary, and I was the same reason why is because I'm not going to know anybody there. But next year I'm going regardless. Fuck that. I'm going anyway if I have to go by. But by the time next year I'll know people that will be there anyway, so it won't matter.
Exactly. So. I always had said, since I was so nervous about going by myself, that I wasn't going to go until I was performing. So when she hit me up and was like, "Hey, come get on stage with us," I was like, "I'm there, absolutely." So then I go there and I meet everybody, and it's just such a loving, embracing place that I was like, I'm never missing another Gathering. I did the show with them, got off stage, and I pointed to the main stage, and I said, next year I'm on that main stage, which ended up happening, but that's another story, which I guess we can get into.
We'll get into that one after this, yeah.
So, yeah, and then that really what started a whole lot of my growth in the Juggalo community, because I had been, like I said, listening, and I'd been claiming a Juggalo. I've been running around whooping forever, but I just didn't have the friends that were all also juggalos. I grew up with people that were more into Tupac is one of my biggest influences. So the people were hanging out with, they were more listening to like Jadakiss and Dipset and, you know, stuff like that, and DMX. And they didn't really listen to ICP. So I was like doing that off of when I was by myself type stuff and off on my own. So whenever I did that first show and got to go to the gathering, I got to meet a lot of juggalos, and, you know, they were very embracing. And I just took that momentum and I just tried to run with it as much as I could. And I ended up finding this kid on TikTok who was using a Xbox headset, and he was just rapping like open verse challenges on TikTok that people were posting, and he was just rapping to them. And I heard him, he said some rhyme about not even having braids and not being Jamaican but blazing. It was the way he connected it that I was like, yo, that kid's got super potential. So I hit him up and was like, man, stop doing that headphone stuff. Get a real microphone, record some real music. You're gonna see how well that changes things. And sure enough, he did, and he started gaining some traction. And I was pushing him a lot, so the fans started like asking for me and him to do music together. So I eventually hit him up and was like, look, man, the fans want to hear us work together, so we need to get something quick. So we reached out to the producer that he had been using, Thick Chris, at the time, and asked him to give us a beat that had a hook already on it, so we didn't have to waste time coming up with a hook. We could just throw verses on it and get it out. Well, this guy, he sent us back this beat with a hook on it that he laid himself, and it was called Witches in the Trap House. And it was a banger. Like, immediately, as soon as he sent it to us, we were like, we ain't even wrote a single word to it yet, and we're like, this is a banger already. Before we even speak on it. So I hit him up, and I was like, look, let's not just do this one song. Let's make a group of this. Let's me and you rap, and Chris produce and sing hooks. So then we were like, cool, let's do that. And then we created Core Whore, which is also pretty dope, because when we came up with Core Whore, we were trying to make a play on words off of horrorcore. Yeah. So originally when we were coming up with it, we were coming up with concepts of being whores for horrorcore.
I like
so
that.
When we really, so when we really wrote it out, we spelt it core a whore.
Oh, you're
it was like core dash a dash whore. Reached out.
Oh, your mic was messing up for a second.
We're making this group called Core a Whore. Somebody reached out to us and said, that is a person in the Mormon Bible who is technically the Antichrist in the Mormon Bible. So I actually was raised in the Mormon religion for a few years in my life.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, wait a minute. Went and looked it up. And I go and look it up, and this guy, Core Whore, they called him the Antichrist because he was going around preaching to people that they don't need the church, that they can be their own gods, and that they can control their own destiny, and that they are in charge of their own lives. And because this guy was telling people they don't need the church, they labeled him as the Antichrist. Oh. So that concept I absolutely loved, because I was like, okay, because I get that people will think I'm a Satanist for some odd reason, and it's like, whatever.
Oh, you know what I meant to ask you at the beginning of the show?
We changed the name, the spelling of the name, to match that guy's name.
Can you?
And that song, Witches in the Trap House, blew up. We went and got a good music video done for it. Cartoon, I give him credit. He paid to have a nice, good quality music video shot. And we submitted that to the gathering to try to get on stage at the gathering. And we had gotten permission to perform on the second stage. There's actually a little funny thing about this. But we got permission to perform on the second stage. And Jump Steady, who does all of the organization for the gathering, which is Violent J's brother, if you didn't know, he
he'd seen our music video after we had already been accepted for the second stage. And he called me. Like, I'm at work. I do like construction. So I was doing drywall work, and he calls me. I'm at work. And he's like, hey, I seen y'all music video 10,000 times, and I don't think y'all should be on the second stage. I think y'all should be on main stage. He's like, can y'all handle main stage? And I was like, of course we can handle main stage. Mind you,
I would hope you
we
say
had
yes
never
regardless.
performed together as a group.
You're like, let's just make it happen anyway.
Our main stage performance at the gathering was our first performance as a group. Yeah, I was not about to tell him that at first.
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, man, we got this.
Yeah, of course you're going to say that, man.
But the crazy thing is Darby, last year, Darby performed in the slot that we were originally given. We were originally given the last slot of the day on the second stage on like day 2 or something, and Darby ended up performing in that slot, which I thought was wild that happened like that. But yeah, man, and we killed that main stage, and that group ended up falling apart. And then I got back there this year on the second stage again. So I did the second stage, main stage, and then the second stage. This was the silly string. That was my 3rd year in a row.
Nice. Can you hear me, or can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Yeah, your mic even changed a little bit. I'm thinking maybe something went off. Yeah.
I think my earpiece died.
Can you do it without it? Can you hear me without the earpiece?
I can, absolutely. And I also
let's see.
Should be. Oh, maybe it didn't.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah, let me 1 second. Let me swap that thing.
Sure. Technical difficulties, people.
It happens.
Yeah. And unfortunately, this isn't going to get edited either. I'm leaving it in.
Very natural.
Yeah. Well, I have so many shows coming up. I'm actually going to release this as an extra, so I'm not editing it, putting it out as is. So.
All right. Boom. We'll just go from one ear to the other.
There you go. Whatever works. You know, oh, I don't even know if you can hear me yet.
1 second.
Not a problem, bud. Jen, you have any questions for him before I ask?
There was a lot of interesting things he said when he was talking about his coming up story and just how, like, the family within a family. I found that particularly interesting. Just thinking about what the Juggalos are, if we're thinking about it as a magic system. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Hi.
There you go. All right.
My ears on, people start calling me. I'm sorry. You was saying. I heard you say something about. You had a question about something interesting. I said.
Well, hey, King Wicked. So I really felt like it was interesting when you said how you were sort of in a subgroup of like the Juggalos. Like it's a family within a family, and when we've interviewed other Juggalos, they have said very similar things. Like they have little subgroups within sort of the larger tent. And I just wanted you to, if you could, speak on that and just how common is that? And like,
it's super common. And I think it comes from the gathering. Most of these sub-families, if you want to call them that, they're campsites. So when you go to the gathering, people, will group up, and they'll have, this will be, Camp Strange Jared B, and this is Camp Fruit Loops, and this is Camp Ballers, and this is Camp XYZ. You know what I mean? I think that's where it comes from.
They have booths there, don't they? Like, can't you actually rent spaces or booths at these things?
Absolutely.
I thought about doing that for the Occult Rejects at the next
Rent, like as a vendor.
Yeah, I'm not even there to sell anything. I'm just like, if you want to know what magic is, come here. Yeah. Oh boy, he hung himself up. Pulled his plug out.
It happens. Well, what do you think of that, Nick? Like, what do you think of like how he described it, because I think it was very like I mean, it's like a magic story kind of, like it is. And then he's wearing the Harlequin. I mean, I think it's cool as fuck. Like, don't misunderstand. I think that it is there's something very esoteric to it. I don't usually use the word occult just because people find that to trigger. I don't know that it triggers them.
From my experiences, especially after Darby, like he retweeted and I think shared on Instagram, the stickers that he designed for me. And he's designing another one too that I will be printing out and sending out for free. But after Darby had made those posts, and oh man, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna have to fix that. There we go.
Sorry, fellas.
No, you're good. After Darby had like kind of done that and sent all that stuff out, retweeted my stuff and shared stuff, I got a lot of juggalos that hit me up for stickers, and a lot of them were like real, like solid, like motherfuckers, man. Like they were like really cool, and were like, "Oh, I'm gonna check your stuff out." Darby, did your art? Like, I don't know. I actually was like kind of like surprised, and like you know what was nice? I'm gonna keep it real. When I went to these people's pages and looked at their shit, it's like I saw their personal life and like not like fucking memes or fucking raging fucking people on the internet. Like I was like, oh, this is what normal people are like. Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is, when you're not triggered on social media and using it for like, hate and fear.
Yeah, that again. I mean, that goes back to the family thing. We try to be real, and the jugglers are super supportive. They're some of the most supportive people ever.
Oh yeah, like I'm seeing their backyards, the shit that they're growing, stuff that they make. I was, guy had this fucking gigantic pot plants. I was impressed.
Wait till you come to the gathering, because jugglers are so.
Oh yeah.
When you come to the gathering,
you're good.
They're blowing my phone up. I've got one person trying to message me, calling me, trying to sell me a pit bull puppy. I'm not interested in buying a pit bull puppy right now. My friends can be pains in the asses sometimes. But at the gathering, man, it's so resortful, right? You're there for a week, and people bring mad stuff that they've made from home to sell, and some of it is so creative, it's crazy. And I absolutely love the hustle and just willingness to grind and do something on your own like that.
Yeah. I definitely I looked at some stuff that Dreadlock Juggalo put out and Humble Among, a couple other things that I came across. He's a really nice, he's a really nice dude too. I mean, I've only had conversations with him on Twitter, and he's coming on this Saturday again with Jin. I got Humble Among, Dreadlock Juggalo, and I got Hope Balthazar coming on. And all of them are like really nice, and like they've just been like again, like Humble. I've had like really nice just conversations with him in DMs. It's like oh, you're not like some angry conspiracy theorist. I can just talk to you about normal shit.
I met Humble at a Ouija Max show, actually. Tell her I'll have to talk to her later. I met Humble at the same Ouija Max show I met my current girlfriend. My current girlfriend was doing she does promotions. She paints up and will she's a model. I like to call her Dark Carnival model. So she'll paint up and do stuff to promote underground artists in the scene. And she had done a video promoting one of our songs, and I reached out to her to talk to her because I was like, "Oh, this girl's cute," and she's singing our song. I got to talk to her, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to a Ouija Max show next week." And it was in my state. I'm in Virginia. She was in Maryland. She was like, come to Virginia to go to Ouija Max show. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm totally going to that Ouija Max show. And I went down there, and Humble was one of the openers, and he had the most energy. When he hit the stage, he was shaking that green hair, and he was everywhere. And afterwards, I stopped him, and I was like, "Yo, yours my favorite show, the favorite performance of the night." And we just kind of kept chatting ever since then. But he's super down to earth dude, super cool dude, and he's talented.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to having him on. Very nice guy.
I have another question. Sorry, Nick.
Go for it.
I want to know, King Wicked, about painting up, this idea and what it means, and like how important is it in the scene for juggalos, like this idea of painting up, and also give like a little bit, as you understand it, explanation.
So there is a lot of juggalos that do not paint up. It's super common for juggalos not to paint up. It is definitely ingrained in the community, though, right? To me, it's like tradition. I've actually caught hate from people because I paint up. They don't like, not many, don't get me wrong, but I've had some people complain about my face paint because they say I'm copying ICP too much or XYZ. And, you know, to me, I'm trying to keep the tradition alive. To me, this is the same as hanging a star on your Christmas tree or, you know, your dreidel or whatever have you, right? It's tradition. To me, it's part of it. So I need to keep it alive, or at least help, right? You know, I'm not the only one here, but to me, I use it differently. Sometimes, you know, I like to call it war paint. You know, when I'm going on stage, I like to say, I'm going to war, and this is war paint. But man, to me, it's just another one of the symbols. You know, so I get some juggalos don't do it. Some juggalos don't want face paint on them. Same thing with the Fagos, you're right? Like a lot of juggalos, Fago shower. We have no problem getting sprayed with Fagos. Some juggalos don't want sticky soda on them. You know, I get it. Not me either, obviously. No.
Real quick, if you don't mind, because I'm realizing the time, and I did want to at least play something else of yours. So I just want to sneak this in. Sorry to just kind of like disrupt the whole thing, but I did want to make sure I didn't forget, dude. You know, I was stoned, so I forgot. What would you like out of those songs? I do have. Was Midnight Homicide one of the ones you told me to grab?
Oh yeah, you can do Midnight Homicide for sure.
All right, I'll put that one on. I might have grabbed that one myself because I chose that one.
The homie Legion from Psycho Circus is on that with me.
All right, so here we go.
It was a nightmare.
God's birthday, I know where they at. Take me to it. Let's go. Just another midnight homicide.
Just another midnight homicide.
Just another midnight homicide.
Just another midnight homicide.
Woke up this morning in a puddle full of blood, and it may sound cliche, but I'm not sure that's what it's from. I mean, there's a couple of bodies everywhere. Really, that's a normal thing. There's a couple that are hanging from a couple chains. I'm not taking Nina, but I've been known to get into something strange. Flashbacks from last night. I keep hearing people scream. I don't know what's real no more, cause I've been having vivid dreams. Every night it seems to me I'm taking out an enemy. Used to be a friend of me, tried to put an end to me. There ain't no getting rid of me. Forever in your memory. How the fuck you gon' brag and boast? Looking like you a lame to roast. I'm the one you should fear the most. Turn a bitch, hey, kill a ghost. Murder, baby, that's how she wrote. Down here we all fucking flow. So are you once I slit your throat. Take off the head of your fucking goat. Get like Jokino, say your spells. Change your course, curse me to hell. I don't think it'll do too well. I'm pretty sure you gon' fucking fail. If they fucking with your family, then you know they got to die. Calling up the homies, and you know they down to ride.
Just another midnight homicide. Just another midnight homicide.
Hatchet on my hip with a 40 in the ride. Either you or me, somebody got to die.
Just another midnight homicide. Just another midnight homicide.
Homicide, 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 just another midnight homicide.
I think I'm ready for my meds now. I just packed the
trunk, I got my shovel and my shower. That'll be used for cleanup if she really starts to bleed out. I wonder if she's home. I'm about to spin the block and see now. Knock on the door, she opens up, I stab her in the face. I watch her stumble as she's screaming, then I close the drapes. Oh, how I love it when she cries, the blood upon her face. I grab her, try to pull her close, why does she run away? Look at her tatas, she's sitting so pretty, she really a monster. I run up a socker, she lucky cause really I wanted to pop her. Instead of the blocker, I pull up my head to the beacon to chopper. You play with the family, you knew it was coming. Disrespect is a nah-nah. I can't believe how you been treating me. Bitch, you in trouble, can you please come take this flick with me? One more memory, then you're going in the trunk. Starting shit with juggalos, then got you killed, who would've thought?
If they fucking with the family, then you know they got to die. Calling up the homies, and you know they down to ride.
Just another midnight homicide. Just another midnight homicide.
Got shit on my head with a 40 in the ride. Either you or me, somebody got to die.
Just another midnight homicide. Just another midnight homicide.
Homicide, 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 just another midnight homicide.
Yeah, I like that joint.
Yeah, so do I. I think that's why I downloaded it. Damn, there was something I did want to ask you, and now I had totally forgot. I guess, you know what? I guess, yeah, no, I think I was going to get back more, I guess, maybe over to the occult, actually. What got you interested into that stuff?
Man, between cartoon and my girl, you know, she's into witchcraft and Wicca and stuff, and when I met Cartoon, he was real into that stuff and shadow work, and you know, he was all into the angel numbers and the 369 method and all that. And I had my mom had always preached to me about being positive mind state versus a negative mind state and how important that was. So I've always kind of like felt that negative and positive energy. But it wasn't until I got up with Cartoon and I got up with my girl that I started learning about it. You know, when they started talking about it, you know, I started telling them, you know, the way I felt about energy. Because I'm not really a religious person, but I believe strongly in energy. I think, you know, energy doesn't die, it transfers. So everything I feel like is energy based. And once I started explaining that to them, they started giving me a little deeper dive into it. So I've been learning more and more about all that side in the last 3 years or so. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't, which I'm not that knowledgeable of it, but I would have almost no knowledge of it if it wasn't for them too.
Gotcha. Are you into meditation at all?
Not really, man. I really wish I was, because I do feel like it would help me, but I have like, you know, attention deficit disorder and all that. I can't sit still, and I get distracted real easy. So like, even when I write music, I don't write it. I don't sit down with a notebook and write, because I get distracted or I just get antsy. You know, I get restless leg syndrome too easily. So whenever I write music, I normally do it while I'm doing something else, like while I'm driving or while I'm at work. I'll be painting a wall or something, and I got the beat in my ear, and that's normally when I write all my music. So the idea of meditation, just to me, I know it would help, right? But I just can't sit still long enough to do it.
A lot of times when you, like you were just saying right now, like when you get these ideas, is it like when you're doing stuff at work that would almost be second nature?
So what I think it is,
because that could be like a physical meditation, believe it or not.
Oh, you know what? If you want to call it like that, then yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think it's I hate work, and it's not that I hate doing work, because I'm not a lazy person. I don't mind doing the work. I hate the idea of just working every day for just just so I can pay my electric bill. I can't stand that thought.
Or at least
So
like
when
something,
I'm
at
at
least
work,
something you like, right?
yeah, exactly. So while I'm at work, I'm thinking, why am I here? I could be doing music. So I'll kind of like try to work on music to partly hopefully get myself out of the position of having to go to that job, but also to take my mind away from the job. So my body's there doing the job, but my mind doesn't have to be.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. Oh, that's interesting. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would even say like, I mean, other magicians have said it. God, I think the first time I heard it was from James Wasserman, who was in the OTO. He had said that, like, a lot of these rituals are kind of like physical meditations in a sense as well. So I can see that.
Yeah, because it draws, it blocks out all outside things, and the only thing in your mind there at that time is what's happening. That's why I was really big into skateboarding. Whenever I'm like skateboarding, it's the only thing on my mind. If you're like actually riding and you're like grinding and hitting ramps, you don't have room in your mind for other things. You need to focus on that rail. You need to focus on your balance. So skateboarding is one of my big forms of therapy. That's like one of the few times where my mind is just blank and there's nothing else I'm thinking about.
That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, see, again, like, I think some people, when they hear meditation, that means not having like any thought in their mind, and it's just like, maybe you have 5 instead of 50 today. I would consider that almost like you're in a meditative state.
I think most people, when you say meditation, they think of somebody sitting here in Indian style, which I kind of do too. But
yeah, because normally I'll just like sit in a chair and just like lay down and just close my eyes and like go into it. But yeah, it's not like clearing your mind to where there's nothing. Yeah. One thing I do, I guess, I'll ask. Darby said he didn't meditate either, and I asked him if he's seen the eclipse before, and he said, yeah. Did you understand that when I had asked him when he closes his eyes, can he see an eclipse? Does that happen with you?
Yeah, no, I don't.
Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
Like I said, anytime I even remotely deal with that, like I've had a couple times where I've ate some mushrooms, and
probably got you close to it.
I'll eat a mushroom. Sometimes I'll eat a mushroom or two, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna eat this little mushroom and get in a good mood. I'm gonna go write a song, and then I'll go sit down in my computer chair, and I won't move. I'll just be sitting there, just still, and like, to me, like, that feels like meditation at times. But like,
that's
even then, like, I just sit there and just stare out into the wall, and sometimes that like gets a little, like, last time that happened to me, I was sitting in my basement, just sitting there, and it felt like there were people standing beside me, and I just could not get over the feeling that I had somebody standing on each side of me. And I just sat there quietly. I was like, whatever's going on, it's just gonna happen.
Yeah. I know. I figured I'd just ask you that. That's cool. All right, Jin, did you have anything you wanted to ask him before I keep going and stuff?
I was interested that you said that you can sort of get there, like you can get to like a single pointed or like a very zen state when you skate. And I wonder if, like, when you're writing songs, are you visualizing something while you're writing? Like, in your head, are you going to a specific place? Maybe not, it's not, yeah.
Yeah, it depends on the song. Previously, like, now I'm starting to do it more now with more personal stuff into the music and stuff, but I used to avoid that stuff. When I was younger, like, to me, if you're going to write a deep song that's got meaning, or that's about trauma, or about a hard time you went through, you have to bring all those feelings up. And I never wanted to do that. Like, I reached a point to get past, my trauma being younger. So I reached a point where I could just not think about it and just forget about it and let it go. So, like, I never wanted to bring that back up so that I could write a song about it. Nowadays, I'm starting to get a little more there, but I still don't bring up that trauma. I bring up what's happening now, or what's been happening recently more than anything. But it just depends on the song. Some songs I just go in there and I'm like, you know what? There's no point to this song. I'm just gonna go in here and just talk a bunch of crap and just be as wicked as I can.
Well said.
Yeah.
I wanted to play another one actually by you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna let you. Well, I could probably play both at some point. What do you think about the song "Killer" that you have?
Man, so Killer is one of my favorite songs. I don't think it's my best song, but it's one of my absolute favorite songs because the guy that's on that song with me, his name is Killer Watt. That was his rap name. He used to be signed to Dipset. Dipset has a junior label, if you want to call it that, called 730 Dipset. And he was signed to that. So as a kid, in this little rinky-dink town I live in, there was no rappers that were actually doing something. And he was doing something when I was growing up. So I looked up to him. And he seen me rapping one day and reached out and told me he was impressed, and which blew my mind. I was like, ah. So whenever I got him on that song, it was like, even though like no one in my community knows who he is, right? No jugglers don't know who that guy is, and a lot of people don't know who he is. But it doesn't matter because I know who he is, and I used to look up to him. So to me, that is the same concept of getting someone who you idolized on a song. So when I got him on that song, I was just absolutely flabbergasted that it happened. And then he even came to my crib and shot a music video with me, which was just amazing. And then I ended up going and like just being background in a couple of his music videos for him. And then he ended up dying of a heart attack like 6 months after we did that song. So that song, just off his memory alone, means a lot to me. I perform that song on every one of my set lists. Anytime I do a show, that song is guaranteed it's going to be on my set list. And it kind of felt like it was meant to be because the producer that sent me that beat, the beat was already called Killer. And then in the beat, it's all like killer, killer, killer. So when I sent it to the guy named Killer Watt, he was like, oh, yeah, of course I'm going to get on the song. Yeah. So it just it's like it was meant to be, like the universe brought that made that happen. And then he died 6 months later. So it was like, it would, if I wouldn't have done that song, it would have never happened.
Oh, yeah. That's wild.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. That song, I like that song a lot. It's just that stage of my career, I didn't have good equipment. I didn't have really good engineers, So it could have, I felt, probably been a better song, but, it still means a lot to me.
Well, I have it to play, so I'm going to play it now anyway. All right.
I'll play it, man.
All right.
It's a fan favorite. A lot of people like it.
I thought it was pretty, I was like, I'm going to add this myself and see if he cares.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's gracious.
Well, I'm a pistol pocket, never slacking, real drug dealer. You ain't counting with my business or a single fucking member. Better remember, no pretender, leave you leaking in your timber. Just Virginia, I'm with Killer, and we holding like I'm the devil, I'm the sharp end of the shovel. I'm the whole embodiment of what you call a fucking rebel. If you wanna kill the giant, I'm the motherfucking devil. Don't stop beef with me, boy, I will never let it settle. I am so fucking ghetto with a touch of heavy metal. Got my car in at your front door with my foot glued to the pedal. Boy, it's your shit no better. This is not about no cheddar. This the storm that you can't weather. This that proof that I am better. And I will be for forever. When I grew that for forever. And I ain't it out whoever. Think they tough enough to walk with us. God damn it, I've had enough. Pussy boy, you know what's some. Stick that brush right up your butt, but you probably like that stuff.
There's a story behind that line.
It's funny.
This one. So, I'm a real big stepper, ass bully rapper, I'm a dresser, Gucci short wearer, who raised you niggas? Why y'all keep talking shit and you know me, nigga? That's why I don't understand this. Yeah, I'm back on my Rizzy, yeah, I get busy, you a little sissy, I mean a little sissy. Why y'all keep talking shit and you know me, nigga? That's why I don't understand this. Yeah, I'm SDN, dangerous and ready, whether with the Nina or the machete. Into my opposition, I forgot to mention she don't play fair. I had your bitch missing, all up in the trap with her face up in my lap. Be boxing on my dick, I bet she got that boom. And all that tough talk is need this and need to stop. Cause if y'all really want to smoke, well, welcome to the hookah spot. What?
Yes, sir. R.I.P. Kilowatt. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Oops. Set a loop again. And then you know what? If you don't mind, real quick, I'll play your As Above, So Below, like your sample of your part on that thing. Remember I was telling you that short? Yeah, I ripped the audio from that. I'm going to play that real quick. I thought that shit was pretty hot.
There's an angel in my heart, in my mind, and there's a demon. There's a staircase in between, and they've been meeting every evening. There's an angel in my heart, in my mind, and there's a demon. There's a staircase in between, and they've been meeting every evening.
There was an angel in my heart, I pulled it out and tried to eat it. Even the demon didn't like it, little baby started screaming. So I had to kill him too, you know, cause fuck it, I don't need him. All they ever do is torture me, burn me to a third degree. Rather drink some mercury and shoot 100 perks in me than continue with them hurting me. Living with this urgency, it's all a game of tug of war. I don't wanna play no more, pulling out my fucking sword and now that rope again.
There's an angel in my heart, in my mind, and there's a demon. There's a staircase in between, and they've been meeting every evening.
I still remember my mom was.
Sorry. Why does he keep doing that? Damn it, looped again. All right. Yeah, that one I like. I thought that was pretty. Yeah. That was like the first thing I think I came across. I was like, oh, I gotta look at the rest of this guy's stuff on your page.
I remember when I wrote that, I was getting a lot of crap from people like saying I was satanic and stuff, and I was a devil worshiper, which really bugs me because like I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in religion per se, so it's like it's weird. It's weird to attach that to me, and I felt like all that's just a game of tug of war. It's all like Christians want you on their side, and Satanics want you on this side, atheists want you on this side, and it's like, you know, it just it felt like it's just a tug of war, and like everyone's just fighting over your soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, your pockets.
You know. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, you know, don't label me. Don't go. You know, I'm here for all of it. It also was a part of where, you know, my character. I don't know if you're a Dragon Ball Z fan, but a lot of people, when they ask who King Wicked is, my favorite way to explain it is with Dragon Ball Z. On Dragon Ball Z, there's a character named Kami, and Kami is the protector of the earth. But Kami cannot be the protector of the earth if he has any evil in him. So he separates himself into two beings, one that is all good and the one that is all evil. The good side is Kami, the bad side is Piccolo. And I like to think that that's what I did. You know, Leonard Trent is me trying to be the best version of me I can be. And King Wicked is me letting that bad side out of me so that I'm not just holding it in.
I gotcha.
Yeah, I thought. Oh, sorry, Nick. In
No,
the
go.
lyrics, you talked about going up the sort of central staircase between two pillars. So I thought, yeah, that's really interesting because that is exactly what you would need to do. You'd be able to have to understand like this light side of you and this dark side of you. Yeah, and sort of like figure out what who those people are.
Yeah, because the light side of you and the dark side of you is still what? You.
Yeah.
And some people want to ignore the dark side or pretend like they don't have a dark side. And there's not a person who doesn't have some kind of dark side. It's bigger in some than others, right? But it's you. And I think you need both. I think it's very important to have both. I don't like it when people kind of deny the other side. If you just refuse, if you're all heart, you're gonna get taken advantage of. If you're not willing to get dark and nasty, sometimes people are just gonna walk over you. But if you're always dark and nasty, you're not gonna have people. You know what I mean? You gotta find a balance.
I agree with that for sure.
100%, I agree too.
For sure.
Do you have any questions, Jim?
I mean, I think it's really cool. I think I'm getting a better understanding of what juggalos are and the carnival and what it means and how other people view it, like how you guys view it within the carnival and how you're kind of seeing it. There's kind of like you think of us as normies, kind of like other people like looking on, you think, but it makes sense. It makes sense because it's like a family, like you're saying, but you're looking outward. You're not looking, we're looking at you like it's a spectacle. But
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's some juggalos who will think I'm fucking weird, believe it or not, if they listen to me talk long enough.
See, it's like it's kind of like we were treated like we were a spectacle. So it's like, well, if you want to show, and you're calling us freaks and you want to show, so why not be the freak show that you wanted? You know what I mean? So, but to us, we're normal. Let me tell you my favorite thing about the gathering. All right, I'm tall. I am tall. I've got braids in my hair, and where I live, that's not common for a white dude to be walking around with braids in his hair. I stick out here, but at the gathering, face painted up, braids, jerk, crazy tattoos. That at the gathering, that's normal. Nobody's like, "Oh, that dude sticks out." No, that's normal. So. Just like you said, we look at the outside like normies. To me, it's a lot like a biker gang. If you think of bikers, right, most people will tell you that bikers are the friendliest people in the world until you cross them, and then they're the most dangerous people. Juggalos are the same way. We're friendly, we're loving, we're not playing. You can come over here and have all the good time you want. Don't hurt nobody. When you hurt somebody, then we have to hurt you in return. We are the most peaceful people as long as you allow us to be. So we definitely look at it's almost like everyone else is civilians. Kind of like in the mindset of how the Army looks at people, like, oh, we're Marines and everybody else is civilians. But it's still kind of not like that because we accept everybody. Like, you don't have to be a juggalo to come to the gathering. We wish everyone would come to the gathering. Well, most people. We don't want everyone. Don't let me lie.
I saw somebody on Twitter recently. Post that if you're a YouTube channel that's not a juggalo, don't come to the next one. I was like, fuck you. I'm still going. Sorry. I'm like, yo, the people who are going to be keeping it real. There's a couple of accounts that I've noticed recently. People that are claiming fuck bigots, and it's like, yo, you motherfuckers are real quick to cancel motherfuckers yourself. You need to check. You need to check where your heart is.
That's new.
There's a few people I've noticed, and I'm like, really
negative about the community, but there's this thing has been going on for ages, right? Decades, right? This gathering that we just had was the 24 years in a row, right? So we have a generation. So we have juggalos now that weren't alive when this started, and because they weren't alive when this started, you know, some juggalos, you know, their mom and dad were juggalos, right? Some of the newer juggalos today, like their parents were juggalos and they passed it down to them. But some newer juggalos, like they just became juggalos. You know, they heard Ouija Mac, and that's how they found the community. And there's nothing wrong with that. Don't get me twisted. But some people, you know, they heard Ouija Mac, they found out about the community, they joined the community, but they didn't do their history and they don't know everything. And then this younger generation we're living in, you know, this is that cancer culture that we need a safe place, you know, that you have to call everyone by their proper pronouns. Juggalos are notoriously we don't give a fuck people, right? We clown each other, we roast each other, we care about your feelings, but like at the same time, your feelings shouldn't get hurt because it's family. We're just
I
clowning.
hear what you're saying. Or it's just fucking words, like it's.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But a lot of these nowadays, man, that cancer stuff, cancel. It's crazy, and you almost all you got to do is disagree.
I was
with
like, oh, okay, I'm
something.
not gonna go now.
Yeah, no, don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do. I can tell you right now.
Odds are, not even trying to be an asshole, I probably understand what's coming out of those people's mouths 90% more than they probably do. So I'm not worried about that person's opinion.
Yeah. There's a few things I've learned about that. Right. First of all, the people who run their mouths on the internet, they do not do that in person. They only do it on the internet. The keyboard warriors. Secondly, whenever when you catch hate from a juggalo, and the best thing to do is stand up and own it. Running from it, ducking from it, it makes it so much worse. To give you an example, Yellow Wolf performed at the Gathering. They shot Yellow Wolf in the face with a bottle rocket, and Yellow Wolf never stopped moving, just kept performing. And then he came back the next year, and they were throwing bottles of Faygo, which is super normal.
Yeah, that
right?
is.
We most notice, but they're throwing stuff, and they throw a Faygo on stage, and Yellow Wolf picks up the Faygo and starts bucking it, and then throws it back, and the crowd goes crazy, right? But then there's the flip side. Riff Raff came last year. And as soon as the crowd started throwing water bottles and Faygo bottles, Riff Raff started ducking and hiding. He went and got security. And when he went and got security to guard him, the juggalos were like, oh, you're ducking and hiding. So here's 10 times more bottles since you want to be like that. And, he did like 3 songs and left. He didn't even go through half a set.
Yo, I heard that these places don't even actually, and I'm not saying this in a negative sense. I'm saying it because I'm actually impressed, and I think it actually proves a point technically with humans, that maybe they aren't as fucked up as the government thinks we are. I heard there's hardly any security there actually, and there's no issues with anything.
There is security there, and there's police there, but they don't.
I heard like they don't like bother people at all. I heard.
None. They're worried about one thing and two things. They're worried about people overdosing. They're there so that if someone's overdosing, they can take care of them. Or because fentanyl's a problem right now everywhere, right?
Yeah, everywhere.
So if someone's overdosing and fentanyl is thought to be the problem, they might go investigate where that came from. But for the most part, they're just there to make sure fights don't happen. If a fight happens, they break it up. Otherwise, they're not. Like, you can do whatever you want in front of the police at the Gathering. They are not saying anything. As long as you're not fighting, which is weird. Like, who fights at the Gathering? It's a family reunion, which, I guess fights happen at family reunions sometimes, but they're not supposed to. But, yeah, security are mostly juggalos. So a lot of juggalos, it's a way for some juggalos that can't afford tickets to be able to come. They'll volunteer as security, and sometimes they'll get tickets, and they'll get to see the shows, even though they got to,
that was something I saw, and I was like, yo, that's like fucking, that's some straight up shit. There was like somebody, again, I don't know, I think it was on Twitter probably. Some dude I think got it was on Instagram. Some dude I think that somebody knew got left behind there. and they ended up like hiring him for the cleanup crews. So like the dude lost like somehow his ride or something. He ended up like with no fucking ride, and it was like, how the fuck am I getting home? And like they put him on the cleanup crew so they can like pay him to get home. They're like, well, help us do this, and we got you to get home. I was like, yo, that's pretty impressive, man.
The cleanup crew was all juggalos as well. Most of the staff at the gathering are juggalos. It's a whole lot of juggalos that do a lot of volunteer work there. The trash cleanup crew was amazing, and they were really good this year. This was the best year that I've been. It was so peaceful. Last year I had a little bit of drama because we were on main stage last year, and it was very stressful. There was a whole lot of stuff going on, and there was a little bit of drama then. But this year I had because as a lot of artists do, there's always some people who throw hate at you, and I had gotten threats, and oh, we're gonna do this to you at the gathering, we're gonna throw things on you at stage, and da 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 da. I just like, cool, throw it. I'm gonna be up on stage either way, whether you're throwing something or not. So I'm not gonna not come because you're threatening me. Which is again, like I said, when people say, "Oh, don't come," fuck them, come. People are saying that though because we're so open and welcoming to people that people take advantage of that, and you'll get which. New ninjas are born every day. New jugglers are born every day. It's a beautiful thing. But if that's not guided, what happens is the community gets tainted. The traditions get tainted. The values get tainted. If we're not governing some way of these new juggalos, at least making sure they understand the core value of the family. And a lot of that's not happening. There's a lot of unchecked stuff like that, which is, we're not a gang, we're not an organization, so how do we check any of that? We can't. What they do try to do, though, is this cancer culture stuff, which I don't agree with. I totally don't agree with, but to me, gatekeeping is wrong, but also having your gates wide open is also wrong. Your gates need to be like accessible but not open, because that's with anything, right? Like you'll lose values, you'll lose the core beliefs through generations. It's like the telephone game. I tell you something and you tell it to the next person, they tell it to the next person. It gets tainted as it goes down. So some jugglers don't want new people because they don't want that to happen, which I say bring them. We just got to teach everybody. Spread the word, spread the knowledge.
What's your take on that, Jen? I'm sure you have something.
Well, I thought it was really interesting. I agree with all this. Like, I agree, cancel culture bad. You need some gatekeeping to keep, like, you have to. It's like it's a metaphysical imperative. So I thought that what you said about like you need to have gates, but you also don't want people to be kept out for whatever reason. That should be inside. So I think that's a very, I mean, I won't use Kabbalah. Sometimes Nick and I do this, but that's a deep metaphysical truth. I think that you need to have some boundaries.
If you don't allow anything new in, it'll never evolve. Right? We want to evolve. We just don't want to lose the core values that started this.
Yeah, and passing on knowledge, like as a sort of, like you guys are the teachers, like the people who are OG juggalos, and then they sort of impart the values onto the newer juggalos. Like you can't control where they take it or what they do with it, but you at least give them the framework, and then they have to run with it. Right?
Exactly. Give them the tools to be able to build with. Exactly. The Harmony, what do you want, princess? Okay, I'll get you a drink in 1 second, okay? You want to say hi?
No new ninjas.
You can say hi, too.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Give me some. guys.
Please give me a snack.
No, can you? You've already had your snack. Go on, please. That is harmony and lyric. I named both my kids after music.
Nice.
My son has the coolest name in the world. His name is Lyric, and his middle name is Lee, Lee. But say it out as lyrically.
Yeah. Are you? I was gonna ask you this, but I probably already know the answer. Well, I never know. Are you into like the Kabbalah?
Not really.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I've never really looked into it to be, to have any opinion on it at all.
Gotcha. What about? I know I mentioned the Emperor card before. Like, are you into tarot or no? Are you into that stuff?
I'm into like, I don't know how strongly. I wouldn't say I believe in it, but like I'm into it for like even just for the fun of it. You know what I mean? My older sister used to be really into reading tarot cards, and I don't know. Some of it to me is just like I like all that imagery of all that stuff, and I like same thing with like a Ouija board. I don't know. I ain't gonna say I believe in a Ouija board, but it's still fun to play with.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. You know what? I think like we're gonna start to wrap it up, Jen. Unless you have a question, I do want to ask him though. Like, where are you going from here? What do you have coming up? Do you have anything like that you got on?
Yeah, I have a few things coming up in the works. First of all, I got a couple of shows coming up. I'm going to shout them out. We're going to be up in Ohio and Indiana in October. We're going to try and do like a little October run. I normally try to come up north and do like a little 4 or 5 show run right before Halloween. So we got a show in New Haven, Indiana on October 19th at a place called Call's Tavern. It's a very dope juggalo spot. Then we got another one I got those backwards. October 19th is Carl's Tavern. That's a Saturday. October 18th is Middletown, Ohio. And that's Lilo's Pizza. That's going to be a dope show, too. Other than that, I have a solo project that I've been working on for a while that should be coming out here soon. It's going to be called The Wicked King of the South. That's been something I've been slowly working on for a while that's going to ramp up here soon. I'm also doing a little side project. So from some of my raps, I like reference Jafar, from Aladdin. And from doing that a couple of times, people started giving me the nickname Jafar. So I have a little 6-7 track EP I'm going to be putting together that's mostly like me rapping on rock type beats, like it's pretty heavier. And that's going to be called Jafar the Wicked. I'm kind of excited about that one.
Nice. I like that idea. Cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's like Corn and Limp Bizkit vibe. Just I'm not singing. It's pretty like I always wanted to. When I was younger, I wanted a band. I wanted to create a band similar to Linkin Park, but a little heavier. And I wanted to have a female singer. I wanted it to be like Linkin Park meets Paramore. And I've never been able to find anybody to do that with. So I come across some really dope rock beats recently, and I decided I was going to put a little rock EP out. I'm still rapping, but
so you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Nice. I would be interested to hear that. I kind of if that stuff's done well, I think it's actually pretty good. I like stuff like that.
Yeah. After that, I'm working on a collab project. That's a Wicked Gang Presents. It's going to be called the Wicked Coalition, which is just going to be a collab album where you just get a bunch of juggalo artists and a bunch of horrorcore underground artists on it, just to try to put out, one dope Wicked album.
Nice.
Yeah, man, I'm trying to keep this Wicked stuff going. Keep it pushing, and keep it alive for the next generation. Working on this Wicked Gang and LLC that I got going on, and trying to create this whole Wicked Gang umbrella. I have this whole dream of what this thing could be. I want to start like a Wicked Gang transportation. A lot of juggalos can't get to the gathering, just because they don't have transportation. So I kind of thought it'd be dope if I could get to a point where I could buy like 2 or 3 buses that could like take a route. And, you know, if you can get to one of those bus stops, you have a ride to the gathering. That, and, you know, I'm trying to get my own record label going. But, yeah, we got a lot. We're trying to get pushing on in this next year.
Good for you, man. Good for you. You said something about, you're not going to, maybe for yourself, like to go, you're not going to the Halloween thing, are you?
Hallowicked?
Yeah.
I went to Hallowicked last year.
Gotcha.
And it was a little bit of, it was a lot of money, and it was a lot of pain in my tail to go.
Gotcha.
And it ended up, it was cool, but it ended up not being worth the aggravation I had to go through for it. And I also had to miss, my kids, you know, are 4 and 7. And so I had to miss trick-or-treating with them in order for me to do that show. And that is, to me, is like a no-no. So I'm not doing that again. I promised my kids I would not do that again. My kids, you know, they're top priority. So I will be here trick-or-treating with them when Hallowicked's going down. Unless if the only way I'm going to Hallowicked is if they call me to perform. Then we'll consider it, but you know. I
was contemplating it, so
I'll bring my kids with me. We'll trick or treat in Michigan.
Yeah, I was thinking of going there, to tell you the truth. I wanted to go because I don't know why. I just thought that Darby might have been there, and when I hit him up, he said he's not, and I was like, oh. I was like, all right. Because I actually I really want to meet that dude. I really, you know Darby, right? You know him?
Yeah, Darby's one of them real juggalos.
He's cool as shit, man.
Artists, there's two types of artists that perform at the gathering. There's the type that you never see them until they're on stage, and then you never see them afterwards. And then there's the ones that they perform, and then they're in the crowd. You know, like me and Darby were those.
Nice.
You know, like
that's cool shit.
Ouija Mac, you know, I get Ouija Mac's big, you know, so it's probably a hassle for him to do that. But like, you don't see Ouija Mac out in mosh pits. Like you can go to the gathering, you can find me or Darby out in the mosh pits.
That's cool, man.
You know what I mean?
That's cool as shit.
But yeah, so like, I fuck with Darby's character. You know what I mean? As a juggalo for sure.
Yeah, he's a cool dude. He's really nice. I talk to him like quite often actually in DMs. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, I ain't really had any conversations with him other than just, you know, hey, what's up? But his character, you know, I see him obviously. You know what I mean? I've watched interviews. I've watched him at the gathering, you know, move around. You know what I mean? So he seems like a real juggalo to me.
I think he's a smart motherfucker too.
Yeah,
I think that's just my opinion. Yeah, he's a good dude. Impressive character for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to Darby. That's my boy. Jin, did you want to ask him anything before we wrap this up?
I just want to say thank you so much, King Wicked. It was like awesome. Like I felt like I got to know you and like get to know the music. And you know, I'm new to the Juggalo stuff, but I think Nick and I doing this has been really interesting for me because I've had to. It challenged a lot of preconceptions I had, but it also made me a lot more open-minded. And so, yeah, I really appreciate you guys. I think you're awesome. It was dope as fuck. Thank you.
Thank you.
I can tell you, as a juggalo, I had my own pre-thoughts of what things were like, and it's not until you like actually experience it. You know, like the gathering itself, I was like, the gathering's gonna be so wild. I'm so nervous. Da 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 da. Then you go there, and it's like they make it out to be way more crazier than it actually is. Things can get crazy there, but it's still a safe and family inviting place. Yeah. But this, what you guys are doing right now, this is what you do. This is the right way. You know what I mean? You're curious about the family. You're coming in. You want to come into the family. You're embracing the family. When you embrace the family and you show the family love, we show love back.
You know, like I did joke before about the few accounts on Twitter, but like I had said earlier, like, you know, that first off, there's always just different people amongst groups all the time, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, like I was saying before, like after Darby like had retweeted and like shared stuff, or I think there was even Juggalos who I think even came across my stuff sharing it to begin with. But like there were some like really nice, cool dudes, man. You know, there's some really
the
cool as
majority of
hell
them
people.
be.
Yeah, and it was just like, oh, you fuck with Darby, I'll check out your show. I'm like, yeah, send me like 20 fucking stickers and I'll slap them up around town for you. Like, fuck, thanks. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just some solid shit right there. You know, so I have to say, there is really nice people I've come across.
Yeah, man, all you gotta do, once you show love one direction, so if you tell them you love Darby or you tell them you love XYZ, like you show love in this direction, they're gonna show it back.
Yeah, I even have Darby, he's making another design. I'm going to make another batch of stickers and send them out again with a different art. Yeah, I like fucking with that kid. Yeah, he's a cool dude.
The guy who does some of Darby's graphic work, this previous gathering, my girlfriend entered the body paint contest.
Oh,
and the
okay.
guy, Brian Red does Ouija Max tattoos and Darby does tattoos. And the jersey that Darby wore at the gathering was designed by Brian Red. And that guy, he painted up my girlfriend for the body paint contest and they won.
Oh, that's cool as shit.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, some of them have some
Brian
sick
Red,
tattoos.
yeah, Brian Red, he's fire.
Nice. All right, so yeah, I think we'll wrap it up here. Again, King Wicked, thank you very much, man. I really appreciate you coming on. I had a great time. Cool as shit, man. You definitely welcome back on in the future. Jen, thank you very much for coming on. Again, keeping the series going. I had a great time.
Thank you, Nick. Thank you, King Wicked. Yeah, it was dope. I really enjoyed it, and I've been really enjoying the series. Like, it's not that I dread it in any way, but I'm always like, what am I going to talk about? But then we have such interesting people on, and there's so much to talk about. So yeah, I think it was really great. Thank you.
Yeah, and for other people listening, if they're interested, again, I think I might have mentioned it at the beginning, or maybe I don't know. It could have been before we started the show. This Saturday at 7:00, it will be me, Jin, Headless Giant, Dreadlock Juggalo, Humble Among, and Hope Balthazar, and we will be talking about the gathering of the Juggalos this year. So check it out. I think some of will have some footage. Hope is into art and she's a tattoo artist, so you'll be able to see like some of her tattoo work and some of her like the art that she does. Some pretty impressive stuff actually. So yeah, everybody tune in for that if you're into this stuff. And again, King Wicked, I really appreciate you coming on, especially with the face paint. I mean, come on, the guy even put time in before he even came on. You know,
man, I rushed to do this before.
Looks crazy.
Whenever you hit me up, I had nothing planned this week, and I just started. I went and put in an application at a job yesterday, just like maybe, and then they wanted me to start today. So like I had got off work, came home, cooked dinner for my kids real quick, ate, and then ran in the bathroom, put it on my face real fast.
Yo, that shit looks good though. That shit looks good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I've done it a lot.
And I think in the bottom I have your YouTube, and I think I have your Instagram in there for people to check out. So
bet almost everything could be found under King Wicked. If it's not King Wicked, it's King Wicked 434.
Awesome. So go check out his stuff. His links will be in there. And if there's anything else you want me to add as a link, you can send it to me after the show, and I'll throw it into the show notes. This will be an extra episode because it would be a while before this would come out, and I really don't want to hold on to it. So I'll probably drop this tonight or tomorrow, and you can share it out. So yeah, if there's any links you want to give me of yours to add, just make sure you try to get it to me tonight. And
that's a bet.
Yeah, and thank you everybody who jumped in on the chat. That is what's up. I appreciate it. That's why I go live. And again, check out the live on Saturday. It'll be a bunch of us here and should be really interesting. More makeup, more outfits. I might be wearing something, so definitely keep an eye out.
I'll see if I can stop in and say hi.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. Definitely if you can. And that's the end of another Occult Rejects. And until the next one, everybody be well. Later.
Whoop.
Whoop, whoop.